everyone. Hope this finds you well. This is our message for the week. The video in lieu of a formal drasha. Next week is Hanukkah. I look forward to sharing with you my Hanukkah message for the year next week, so please stay tuned to your email inbox for that. As always, missing you here at Shul. You can see from behind me that the Shul is empty. That's just my virtual background. I wanted to look at the Parsha with you. And as we continue this video series, looking at the weekly Sedra, really strange story. Yaakov Avinu leaves with his family. He crosses back in to the land of Israel. He's concerned about his reunion with Esav, his brother. And he crosses this natural boundary, the Yabok, this stream of water. 3 times he crosses his family members first, then he crosses his possessions, then he goes back. Maybe he forgot something, or he had other items known as pachim ketanim, these small, less significant items that he goes to retrieve, and he chances upon a match, a wrestling match, a strange encounter with what we find out later to be a celestial being, Saro Shel Esav, some sort of angel, adversary, Esav type of being. It's hard to understand, probably not ever fully understand what that encounter really was, but we know at the end of it, he is called Yisrael. And we do have some insight into why he was called Yisrael. And if we can find out why he was called Yisrael, then you and I, known as Israelites, known as Bnei Yisrael, Klal Yisrael, Am Yisrael, might have some insight into who we are and what our identity is. So the Gemara tells us, try and understand this story also. Who won this wrestling match? Was this wrestling match won by the angel? Was it won by Yaakov? Ultimately, the Gemara concludes and tells us that Yaakov won, and how do we know? Because of the word Sar. Yisrael, Sar, Sin Reish, ruler, ruling over. And we're told in the Parsha, in this word Yisrael, how to look at it. Vayomer lo, Yaakov yeyamer od shimcha ki im Yisrael, ki sarisa im Elohim v'im anashim batuchal. Sarisa, you have striven, you strive with the gods and contend with them and with man. You represent a very different kind of human being. Civilization isn't always fond of you, and yet you prevail, even when the odds are against you. We have an insight now into the meaning of what it means to be an Israelite, to be a child of Yisrael, a child of Yaakov, now with this name change of Yisrael. Batuchal, such an inspiring conclusion to this episode, to this verse, this pasuk, to prevail. And we see another place in Tanakh that gives us insight. V'yasar el malach, when Hosea, the Navi, the prophet, reflects upon this competition, this battle, if you will, between Yaakov and Esav. And remember, Yaakov is on the cusp of meeting Esav, who had been pursuing him and wanting him for violent purposes for many years. The Gemara says that Kisarisa, when it strives, competes with God, we learn because he was eventually called Yisrael, that he was victorious, even though he was contending against the supernatural, so to speak. That's the way we understand it. And yet he was able to persevere and prevail. And so we often have our challenges. and we need to look to our namesake. We look at the original Israel, more commonly known as Yaakov Avinu, and see what he accomplished. Yaakov, when he was done with this bout, when he was done with this wrestling match, he realized that what he had experienced was out of the ordinary. So extraordinary that he wanted to name the location of where he was. And he named this area, this geographic region, Peniel, face of God, meaning, as it says, Ki ra'isi Elohim, I saw the Almighty. Panim el panim, I was face to face. I was in very close proximity. I was not distant. I was wrestling with this individual. Atinat sel nafshi, and my life was preserved. Certainly Yaakov had something to do with that. The fact that his life was preserved is supposed to be inspiring for us, that no matter what we deal with, even if it's so out of the ordinary that it's not even physical, but even more than that, that seems to be out for our own extinction. So we look at Yaakov and we see his name and we see how the Almighty made it. That his name Yisrael would have sin resh, this sar, this ability to rule over others, over not just over others, but over our own destiny, most importantly. So you hear at some of Hashem's will, we take a lot of strength from our parsha. We think of our namesake. We think of that no matter what challenges us, whether it's our enemies, whether it's a pandemic, or whether it's world order that seems to be so confounding and confusing, we realize that we have this legacy, perseverance, and this legacy of prevailing against long odds. Thank you all and have a wonderful Shabbos.